Hi guys, this is Sketch Queen, and I'm back yet again from a nearly half a year long hiatus, and I can tell you from the get-go that it sure feels great to be back. And today, well, big surprise there, I'm going to talk to you about pantyhose yet again, more precisely about the big problem with pantyhose. What exactly is this massive problem with pantyhose? I personally love them. I mean, you do know me, and you've probably seen plenty of my pantyhose reviews, but you will hear many people complaining about various problems with pantyhose, of which one of the most prominent is the fact that pantyhose tear easily, they develop runs, and they get ruined in the blink of an eye after only a couple of wears. Now, as a crossdresser, that is certainly a problem, and I personally have invested quite a bit of money into hosiery over the years. And yes, I can tell you that the problem certainly exists. What exactly is the cause of this issue? Well, the really fine fiber used for the construction of the nylons is extremely susceptible to tearing and to snagging on a nail, or even on a shoe decoration, a rhinestone or a heel or whatever, and before you know it, there's an unsightly ladder running up the back of your leg. What exactly can you do to sort of fend off these ladders and keep your hosiery in shape for longer? Well, the first thing that I've noticed, this is my own personal experience, so I can definitely vouch for its validity, is that most runs develop on the soles and near the heels of your nylons. Now, the reason is obviously that the material there is subjected to a greater deal of stress, and eventually all it really takes is one of these extremely microscopically thin fibers to break, and you have got yourself a run. Now, what you can actually do is to make sure that your skin on your heels is not as rough as it would normally be. Use some kind of a lotion and try to exfoliate and treat that area somehow. Make your skin finer. It will benefit you in other ways as well, and it will definitely preserve your tights. Wearing your nylons in the house, for instance, without shoes is pretty much inviting a ladder down your sole first, and then all the way up the back of your leg. So if it's not too much to ask, try to wear some kind of slippers inside the house if you have your pantyhose on. Another thing that I've heard, and I've actually tried it, but I'm not really sure whether it works or not, is getting your brand new pantyhose out of a package and soaking it in lukewarm water first. Then letting it dry and then putting it on for the first time. This sort of MO apparently also prolongs the life of your hosiery and it prevents runs. I actually did do this, and I even mixed some lotion into the lukewarm water to make the fibers even more resistant, even more elastic, and even less prone to breaking. I'm not exactly sure whether it worked or not, but yeah, that is definitely something you can or maybe should try. I've heard people talk about fishnets and fence nets developing runs. Now I can tell you for sure that fishnets and fence nets do not develop runs. They tear. So if you happen to tear a fishnet, you tear a hole into it, and that's pretty much it. The hole is localized, and it's not going to, the problem is not going to spread up your leg. So in that regard, fishnets do trump actual shears. Now, in all honesty, only shears such as this pair over here do actually develop proper runs. As I said, fishnets and fence nets are pretty much immune to it, and there's a special category of pantyhose which is a sort of halfway solution between pantyhose and 80s style shiny nylon lycra leggings, such as Cecilia de Rafaela's Uppsala tights. It's really hard to tell whether they're leggings or pantyhose or tights or whatever, They're really shiny, they're great and glossy and absolutely superb and feminine otherwise. But these types of pantyhose do not develop runs either, much like the actual leggings. I have never seen a run in a legging either, and if there happens to, and if one of them happens to develop a run, it really does take some kind of major force to make that happen. Now, another thing you need to know about classic shears is that they weren't exactly created for vigorous activities such as sports. Now, I've wrestled plenty in pantyhose, and I did my aerobic workouts in pantyhose as well, and I can tell you that I did manage to put runs in quite a few of them, especially when doing some kind of stretching or some kind of convoluted wrestling hold. I remember this one time when I was put in a submission hold, and my leg was pretty much almost pulled over my head, and just before I tapped out, I felt a sort of tingling sensation in the upper crotch area, and I didn't really know what that was, but I did sort of suspect that it was a run. And afterwards I looked down, and it turns out my pantyhose had pretty much exploded over there, with a hole about about the size of half of the palm of my hand, and with a whole bunch of runs already trickling down my legs. So yeah, not only did I lose the match there, but I also lost a good pair of pretty much brand new tights. This brings us to another thing that you need to know about pantyhose and runs, sizing. Now, sizing is quite possibly the most important factor that you should bear in mind when looking to stave off leathers in your nylons. That's because properly sized hosiery tends to run much harder. Now, if you pick hose a size too small, you are certainly at risk of overstretching the fabric. Now, these nylons are extremely forgiving size-wise because they do stretch in every direction, and they offer a pretty good-looking fit, even if they are undersized. Now, the problem is that if they are undersized, the fabric stretches a little bit too much, and then you do something like squat or whatever, and suddenly you feel a sort of tingling up your leg or wherever, and you have a run in the works. On the other hand, if you pick a size which tends to be sort of large-ish, thanks to the same elasticity and stretch, the hose will fit just fine. Nonetheless, just make sure they don't actually get wrinkled around your ankles, because that's really an unsightly fashion faux pas. But if they do fit well and they are one size big for you, they will probably last a lot longer than a similar pair of tights, one size smaller. So that's always good to bear in mind. Hi guys, that's it for today. It sure does feel nice to be back again. Once again, you know the drill. If you like my videos, hit that like button down there. Subscribe to my channel, because I do always have planned more videos. Planned, and I am hopefully going to start posting more from here on out. Okay, see you around.